I'm really missing my boyfriend in lockdown. Shall I sneak out and meet him?
So has she met him in London?
Whatever makes you feel good. So you need to think, right, when do I feel my best?
Welcome back. We're back with another isolation video, but we are kind of together. I've got Vasco on my laptop on FaceTime.
I hope you're all staying safe and well in lockdown. It feels like we've been in lockdown for so long now, doesn't it?
So long,
although
yeah.
it is going quite quickly, I think, at the same time, which is weird.
Yeah, I think it is, which is good.
But today we're going to do a bit more of a chatty video. So we're going to be giving some advice in today's video. A little bit like an agony aunt type of thing.
Yeah, so we asked on our Instagram for people to send in dilemmas that they're having at the moment. And we had quite a range of responses from like relationships, friendships, work, isolation, yeah, like everything. So yeah, we're just gonna have a go. We are not experts by any means, and we'd give each other the best advice we can, but like please don't expect, you know, we're not, who's like a really famous agony aunt, like
maybe we will like just give advice of like what we would do in that situation, or what I would advise to you if you had that problem, or whatever.
If you do like this video, please remember to subscribe. Oh. Please subscribe.
So one of the dilemmas we had sent in was saying that me and my boyfriend are arguing in lockdown and finding it hard not seeing each other at all.
Obviously lockdown is not ideal for like any situation, like any relationship is going to be tested, like even people that can see their boyfriend and maybe live isolating with them, which is also going to be stressful because you literally can't get away from them or whatever. Yes. Obviously you probably are going to maybe argue a bit more than you normally would, because you might want to FaceTime him all the time and he might be like, just leave me alone for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like maybe you might force it more because you know that you're not going to see them, so you might FaceTime like twice a day when normally you might not see each other for a week, and you might just call a couple of times and it's more natural. Like you might end up forcing it, and I feel like maybe girls would do that more than boys, so maybe he might just be getting annoyed and be like, I just want to like chill tonight, or like, I don't know, like play on my FIFA or whatever boys do. So maybe like that, if that's maybe one of the reasons that you're arguing.
I think that the not seeing him thing, like if you know you've got a strong relationship, then you should just know that when you come out of lockdown, you're going to see each other and it's going to be really nice. Like that's what you've got to hold on to. Like it's not the missing them thing that you should be focusing on, it's the outcome at the end of like when you get to reunite and it's going to be really nice again. I think that's what I think you need to change your mindset of like, oh, I can't see him right now, to oh no, when this is all better, like we're going to be have such a nice time together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe you could make some plans. Obviously we don't know when it's going to be, but if you have like, you plan that when it's out you're going to go and stay in like a log cabin for the weekend or whatever, do you know what I mean? If you have like a nice plan like that ready, then that would maybe get you through as well. And I think like it's not forever. Like I think we've probably come, hopefully we've done longer than we've got left to do. Maybe like I'd say like we're probably halfway through, if not a bit further now. So like, yeah, like Vas says, just keep thinking of how nice it's going to be after, like when everyone can reunite, everyone can see each other again.
Okay, so another dilemma we got was someone saying, okay, so I'll read it out. So I met this boy on Hinge a couple of months ago while I was in London still, but she's back home for lockdown. And he's nice and all, and we've been WhatsApping or whatever, and he asked to do a FaceTime first date. I initially said yes, then he took ages to reply, then he replied, and I've left him on red for a few days now. I can't decide if it's a bit of a sad and awkward venture or just the adaptations that have to be taken to make sure COVID life isn't boring. Okay.
So has she met him in London?
No, so I think...
Right, so she's like on Hinge.
Like she spoke to him on Hinge, but they've not
had their date yet.
So he's saying, do you want our first date instead of in real life, like it would be, to be on FaceTime? I think that's actually a nice idea. Like,
yeah,
I would maybe, right, personally, I think I'd rather call the first time and then start FaceTiming, like just to hear each other's voices and speak on the phone rather than maybe the first time have your face on the screen. I don't know, I just think get to know like their voice, like have a little chat with them, and then when you feel comfortable like speaking to them, then maybe like FaceTime, because I think there's a difference between just speaking to them and then actually being on FaceTime. It's a lot more personal, I think.
I think kind of like, what have you got to lose? If it's awkward, you can literally just like not hang up. It's not, you're not even in like a pub or like a bar or anything. And I think like you might as well, because also it could be quite a long time, and if you like wait it out, by the time you've got back down to London, you might have kind of like got bored of it, and which is kind of understandable because there's not loads to talk about in lockdown and stuff.
The whole like thing that you're like, you've left him on red and all this type of stuff, like I just think if you want to speak to him, reply to him. Like, you're obviously thinking about this person, because you wouldn't be messaging us asking what to do if you weren't like bothered about him a little bit maybe, and like curious to find out like about him. So I just think like, instead of doing this thing where he's not replying for a bit and you're not, just communicate, do you know what I mean? Like like, and just say to him like, yeah, maybe I'd like to.
Realistically, what have you got to lose? Like, you're probably quite bored in isolation, you might as well do it. Might be quite nice, then you can get a bit dressed up. Like, I've actually heard of a few people going on FaceTime first dates, and I think it's kind of funny. Like, it would be quite a funny story. Like, if you ended up seeing him, you'd be like, haha, do you remember we got together? During COVID, because we had to go on a FaceTime first date. I think, yeah, maybe do it. Because I feel like if you don't want to go on the FaceTime date, then there's something like stopping you, and do you want to kind of like waste all this time speaking to him? Do you know what I mean? If you don't even want to FaceTime him, then are you going to want to go on like an actual date? Maybe not. I think adapt with the times and go on the date. Could be fun. And tell us about it when you go on it. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I want to know.
So there was like a couple to do with exercise and like being healthy and stuff in lockdown. So like struggling to find motivation to exercise, or just being in the house all day, so wanting to eat everything inside. I kind of have like good days and bad days. Like, some days I've been doing this shreddy, you know, Grace Fits like shreddy thing, and so I've started that this week. So like every morning I've got up and done the workout for that, which has been good, because it's kind of like workout done in the morning, and having that kind of structure to follow helps me, because like, not that I have to do it, but I feel like if it was just me getting up and being like, oh, what workout should I do today, I would maybe be less likely to do it. But I'm like, oh, I've got Saturday, so today was arms and abs, so I was like, I've got to do Saturday's workout. But maybe setting yourself kind of like a plan, so that every morning you're doing, you know what you're doing ahead of the time, rather than just waking up and being like, oh, I should probably go on a run, or I should probably do this.
I think like consistency is like, because I think at the moment, I saw actually an Instagram post about this, like there's so many YouTube and like Instagram videos like flying around of all these workouts, and in the end people just do like random workouts. One day they'll do this, one day, and it doesn't really actually work, because you're not sticking to a routine and like doing consistent workouts like that are gonna improve and everything. So I think like maybe find like someone that like you really like their workout, whatever works for you, and stick to it. And like you said, like just like, and have days off, like allow yourself to have days off. Like, don't feel like you've got to exercise every day. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure, isn't there, like to be like really productive and everything. But I think that like it's okay if one day you feel like doing loads of exercise and then the next you kind of don't want to as much. I mean, I don't know if it is a great idea, because I think maybe it can become a bit obsessive with like calorie count and stuff, but I've like been getting on MyFitnessPal the last couple of days, and that's only because, so that's an app where you like log in what you've eaten throughout the day and stuff like that. And I'm not doing it because like I want to lose like loads of weight, and like I think it's more just like I was eating without even thinking about it.
Boredom eating. You don't have to, I don't know, I feel like everyone, maybe it's like a good thing that everyone is trying to have this like post-lockdown like glow up, like, which obviously we all want, and it's a good time when you've got time to exercise and like cook healthy meals and stuff. Maybe that's something as well, like spend time cooking a nice evening meal for like your family and stuff. So then if you have had like a few snacks in the evening, then if you've been eating healthy meals and stuff, then I think that's better as well. Yeah, like try maybe exercise a bit, eat healthily, but at the end of the day, like it's really not the end of the world if like during this lockdown it's such a weird time. I feel like focusing on like keeping happy and like keeping entertained and stuff is more important than being a size 6 after lockdown or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay, so someone sent in the dilemma: I'm really missing my boyfriend in lockdown. Shall I sneak out and meet him? No. Do I drive back to uni, get my stuff and move out properly, or stay hopeful that lockdown will end soon?
Okay, this is a hard one because first of all, it depends on like the legal thing with your tenancy and all that kind of stuff. Like I know our tenancy ends in mid-July, so we're hoping that like we should be fine. I think maybe like leave it as long as you can, and if it gets towards the end of your tenancy, then I think like you going up with like one parent, going in, if you know none of your other housemates are going to be doing it on the same day, like going in, get your stuff and leave and come home. Like you're not seeing anyone else or anything like that, so I think it's fine to do. But I reckon leave it as long as possible and be hopeful that soon we're going to be able to move back anyway, because I think you'd beat yourself up if you like went up and did all that now and then you had like a month left of your tenancy where you could have moved back.
Imagine if you moved all your stuff out and then they announced lockdown was over in like the end of May, and then you had the whole of June that you could have, I mean you could just move your stuff back up, but it would be a bit annoying if you'd moved it all out.
Okay, someone sent one in saying, me and my boyfriend split up and I'm worried about seeing him on Osborne Road, which is like the main bars that we go to in Newcastle, but like generally seeing him after lockdown, like, is it going to be awkward, that kind of thing?
I think it so depends on how you ended.
So true, yeah.
Like if you ended on good terms, then it's not going to be like, I don't think you need to like worry. Obviously it's not going to be like, it's going to be weird, but if you ended on really bad terms, then I would be a bit more like anxious about it, if you know what I mean.
I think it's like being civil is always the key in that situation. Like as much as you might, even if you ended on like really bad terms, it just makes you look better if you're just like, hi, you're right, and then that's kind of the end of the conversation. Like you don't have to engage in a big catch up like, how was your lockdown? Like
I always think it's your choice. Like, so if you saw him and you felt really uncomfortable, you don't have to speak to him. Like it's up to you. Like you do what you want to do. You will be more peaceful and like happy inside if you just like don't have any like hate in you, you know what I mean? Someone said, I slept with my housemate and now he's obsessed with me. Okay, ooh, bit of a mistake there, I think. Like, not a mistake, but it's a bit of a rookie error, like sleeping with someone that you live with, isn't it? Like if you're not, especially if you're not interested in actually like pursuing it and having anything with them, then it's gonna make things a little bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like the golden rule everyone says before you go to uni, isn't it? And now he's obsessed with you. Well, take it as a compliment first of all, do you know what I mean? Like this can have kind of like two roads now, because are you in lockdown together, like locked in the same house with this housemate that you've got with, and then like you don't want to pursue any further, because that would be messy, because kind of like you're just gonna have to let him down gently and be like, I'm really sorry, like I don't want to
how do you like avoid that person when you're living with them? You can't really go anywhere, especially in lockdown. You can't go out of the house. It's just
then you're gonna have to tell him. Like, it will be an awkward conversation, but you're just gonna have to be like, sorry, like that was just like a one-time thing or whatever, like it happened a couple of times, but I'm not really feeling it anymore, but I don't want it to ruin our friendship, you know, like all the generic kind of stuff.
The thing is, like, would you, if you were in his position, would you rather maybe be a bit upset because that person told you that they weren't that interested, or be sort of like led on? Like you'd rather, like, not led on, but you know, think that you have a chance or whatever, and then find out that they were never really interested in you. I think you'd rather them just be honest with you and say, I'm sorry, I see you as a friend.
Okay, someone sent one in just saying like lockdown's getting them they're feeling a bit kind of like low. How advice to get motivated to feel a bit, well, not low, I suppose, in lockdown. I think, like, first of all, not sounding patronising, like, it's a totally normal way to feel. I feel like everyone I've been speaking to has had at least a few breakdowns and a few days when they've been just feeling a bit rubbish. And I think it's kind of, like, important, if you are feeling like that, then maybe just have a day off, just chill, watch some films, like, sit in the lounge with your fam, maybe don't, like, seclude yourself to your room.
Definitely remind yourself that it's normal, like as we said, like again, not sounding patronising, but it is very normal. Like I think everyone's having down days and good days, but I think if you are feeling really low, I'd say if you've got someone that you feel you can talk to, then talk to them and tell them how you're feeling, because just getting it out of your mind will just like help so much, I always think. And then also I think getting outside in the fresh air like is a big thing. Like I know I've been feeling a little bit down some days or whatever, and I've gone on a walk and it's like nice weather and I've had my headphones on. I come back feeling like in a completely different mood.
Maybe if you are kind of like isolating with your family or with your boyfriend or whatever, like if you're with them quite a lot, maybe just say to them like, I want to go on a walk on my own, like just, you know, don't feel like you have to take your mum with you, like, or take your boyfriend with you. If you just want some like you time, just go on a walk, put some music on, go out for an hour or so, and I feel like you'll feel so much more like energized when you get back. You might be motivated to do work that you've got to do, or like you might want to cook a nice meal or something, you know, that kind of thing.
Whatever makes you feel good. So you need to think, right, when do I feel my best?
Yeah.
So say you feel really good about yourself and like it cheers you up when you're in your room putting on your makeup, listening to your favourite music or listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
Then just do it. You're not going anywhere, but it doesn't matter. And then like you might feel like taking a few little selfies with your makeup done. Like it's just things that'll make you feel better about yourself.
And if you don't want to speak to the person that you're isolating with because they're the one that's like making you feel a bit like, then just like FaceTime your friends, like say to the girls like, do you want to do a quiz this week? Like take your mind. You don't even have to like, obviously like speaking about the problem helps, but also taking your mind, because there might not be anything specific. You might just be finding this whole kind of like lockdown a bit overwhelming and a bit draining and stuff. So it might be quite nice to just mix it up, do something different, like FaceTime a different group of friends than you have been doing, or like do an activity.
Or even like online, like there's loads of people that if you don't feel like you have anyone to talk to, then I'm sure there's like, and like even the Samaritans and people like that. Okay, so someone asked us tips on maintaining a relationship when you're at different unis.
So it could depend as well if you're like 10 hours away or if you're like 2 hours away, because if you're 2 hours away you could maybe like try and see each other a bit more if it's not working and stuff. But if you're like just generally a long distance relationship,
I do think that you need to have things to look forward to, so know when you're going to see each other. I think that's a big part of it. Like if you have no idea when you're next going to see each other, then that's going to make you feel like stressed and sort of anxious because you're going to be like not knowing. Whereas I think if you know in 2 weeks you're going to see each other and you're going to be doing this and this that you've got planned, you're going to go to your favourite restaurant, you're going to do an activity, you're just going to have a chill day, whatever you're doing, I think like it's good to have plans. I think that's like the first thing that's really important.
Also I think like you're obviously both at uni, so you're both kind of in the same stage of, you probably maybe met at school, so you're both in the same year or whatever, so like integrate them with your uni friends, because like chances are, like I think that would make it easier as well, because then when you're like speaking about uni and stuff, they know, you know what I mean? That would help as well if your uni friends know him or her, then they, if you're upset and like missing them, then they'll know them and they'll be like, oh well, you know, like that kind of thing. So I think definitely like keep them integrated, don't try and keep it separate or anything like that, because I think that would help you.
As well, like regular FaceTimes is important, because yeah, messaging is nice or whatever, but you just don't get that same feeling as when you like actually can see each other and can speak to each other. I mean, obviously it's not the same as being in real life with each other, but it is nice. And I think don't feel pressure to do it all the time, but like when you're both free and you've got time, just sit in your rooms and have a good like long catch up, and that'll just keep you both like, you know, connected. You've got to keep reminded of like the good things in your relationship, like why you love that person, why you want to be with them, and knowing that that is worth like maybe not seeing them for a bit. And then also like remind yourself that like the grass isn't always greener. Like if you were actually dead near each other, you might get on top of each other, you might not really get to see your uni friends because you'd be spending all your time with your boyfriend. Like there's pros and cons of both, so I think don't focus too much on the negative, like think about the positives of it and the fact that when you do see each other it's really nice. They're the dilemmas that we thought we'd give a go at giving some advice to. I mean, obviously like we said, we're not experts, like we don't know if that was actually extremely helpful, but that is what we would tell each other to do in those scenarios.
But yeah, we had like a few left over, so maybe if you like this one we could do part 2, agony aunt.
I enjoyed it actually.
Yeah, it's just like good chatting through things, makes me think more about like what I would actually do as well, do you know what I mean, when you actually have to think about it. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this and some Sunday evening entertainment, and we'll see you on Wednesday for some more vlogging, more exciting isolation activities. If
you've got any ideas for what we could do for our Wednesday vlogs, and maybe you want to see us do a particular thing, or like, I don't know, just let us know anything in the comments. But yeah, we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.